In this video, we are going to cover the conditional statement, that is if-else statements and switch statements. Very often when you write code, you want to perform different actions for different conditions. Many a times it happens that when a certain condition arises or whenever we encounter a certain condition, this code should be executed. But if I encounter some different condition, then a different code should be executed. So in this case, we can make use of if-else statement. In PHP, we have the following conditional statements. The very first one is simple if statement. It executes some code if one condition is true. Let's say if I want to execute a part of the code only if the condition is true. So then I can make use of if statement. Simply inside the if we can write that condition, and if that condition comes out to be true, then that code will be executed. Otherwise it won't be executed. Then we have if else statement. Now this is a little incremental version of if. Now here if the condition if that is inside the if statement is false, then the else code will be executed. In simple if statement we did not have any option if the condition is false. But here we are actually giving two options, that if the condition is true then if statement will be executed, and if it is false then else code will be executed. Then we have if else ladder as well. This is known as if else ladder, means if then we have multiple else if statements and at last we have one else statement. So sometimes we do have 10 to 15 conditions that we need to check, right? And for these different conditions we require different code to be executed. So for that we can go for if else if statements. It executes different codes for more than two conditions. Then at last we have one switch statement. It selects one of many blocks of the code to be executed. So we have several cases inside a switch statement, and whichever case is true, that code will be executed, and then the flow would come out of the switch state. So this was some theoretical part. Let's now jump on to the practical part so that our understanding can become much clearer. Let's talk about if-else statement. The if-else statement executes some code if the condition is true and another code if that condition is false. Now let's understand this with a very easy example. Let's say I have two integer variables over here. Why integer variables? Because it is holding a integer value. Okay. Now here I have written one if condition. Now this is the syntax. If, then we have two round braces, two round brackets. Inside that round brackets, we are going to write our condition. After writing the condition, we have two curly brackets, and inside that our code will be written. Means if that condition is true, then what code should be executed? So that code will be inside the curly braces. And else don't have any condition, because if this condition is false then else will be executed. Otherwise if the condition is true then the if block will be executed. So this is the statement, and here the condition that I have given is if $a is less than $b. So if the value of $a is less than $b, then this code will be executed, if block. Otherwise else code will be executed. Okay, so in this case, since $a is less than $b, so we will execute this statement. So let's jump on to an IDE. So we'll go to our Visual Studio Code. So here I have one folder, as I have already said. I will just recap it once. To run a PHP program, very firstly you have to go to your location where your XAMPP is installed. So my is C directory, in your XAMPP is installed. I will click on it, and here we have one htdocs folder. Now inside this folder you have to create your own folders, and inside those folders you have to keep your PHP files. So now I created one folder called programming. Inside the programming folder I have my one PHP file. Now I have just opened that file inside my IDE. As you can see, this is the folder name and this is the file name. You can create multiple files in a folder, you can create multiple folders for different projects, but all these folders must be inside the htdocs folders. Then only your code would execute, otherwise it will give you an error. So we'll just skip out all these things and we will write PHP. This is the opening tag. PHP code should be strictly inside these tags. Okay, and now I will create two variables, $A, which has a value of 5, and let's take $B, which has a value of 10. So I created two variables over here. One is holding the value 5 and other is holding the value 10. Now I'm giving a condition if, then I will write two round brackets I have. Inside this, I will write my condition if $A is less than $B, then I will come out of the bracket and I will now give two curly brackets, two curly braces like this. So this is the syntax. Now inside these brackets, I will write my code that is to be executed if the condition comes out to be true. So I will simply write here echo A is greater than. I will simply write this one. So this else, else, then I have brackets inside which I will write my code. Now here, if this condition is true, in this case this is true because 5 is less than 10. So this will be executed. Let's say if A was holding the value of 15, then A would be greater than B. So then we would have executed this else block. So else don't have any condition. Okay, we will simply write the code that is to be executed. We will just simply echo B is greater than A. So now our code is ready. So we will just execute. Okay, we'll just try to execute it. To execute, you have to go to your browser and in you have to write localhost, the name of the server, then slash the folder name programming. In this case we have a folder name called programming, and inside that which web page you want to open. I have a file called first.php I want to open, so you can just click enter, and here, yeah, we are getting A is greater than B. Okay, I actually wrote it in a reverse manner here. It should have been B is greater than A, and here it should have been A should be greater than B. Okay, so now let's run it again. Okay, so B is greater than A. Why? Because here the B is holding a value 10 and 5. A is holding the value 5. So 10 is greater than 5. So that's why this code got executed. If let's say if A was holding the value of 25, then now A becomes greater than B, so this code will be executed, else code. Let's see whether it works or not. Okay, so A is greater than B, so the code is working proper. So this was about if else. The syntax is you have to just write if keyword. This is a keyword. Then two round brackets. Inside that you have to give the condition. Then outside the bracket you will create two curly brackets inside which your code will be written. Whatever code that you want to execute. And else, then we have two curly braces and we have the code that is to be executed if this condition is false. So this was about if else. Now let's jump on to if else statement. This is the if else ladder. Now when we have more than two conditions, let's say if I have one condition and I want to check if that condition is true, then this code is to be executed. If it is false, then else code will be executed. So if we have are having one condition, then if else is a good option. But let's say if I have multiple conditions, then I can go for if else if. Now in this case, else if is a keyword and the syntax is completely same like if. We will just give the condition inside these round brackets. Then we have curly brackets inside which we will be writing our code. So we will just see this in an IDE and understanding. I will again write PHP, PHP. Okay. Starting and ending tags are mandatory. We will create two variables, $a 5 and we have $b as 10. Okay. So now first condition that I want to check is if my a, if my $a is equal to $b. Now this is an operator. This double equals is an operator to check whether both of them are having the same value. So if they are having the same value, then it will return a boolean value that is true, and this code will be executed. So it is just basically to check whether the two variables are holding the same value or not. Okay, so I will just simply say echo A and B are equal. We'll just print out this. If both of them are containing the same value. But let's say other condition is else if, we'll just write else if. Now here we will give our condition. If $a is less than $b, okay. In else if I have given this condition, if $a is less than $b, then I will echo b is greater than a. Okay, right. And then at last I will say else echo a is greater b. So here I have three conditions. I'm first checking if both of them are equal. If they are containing the same value, then this code will be executed. If a is less than b, then this line of code will be executed. And if a is greater than b, then this code will be executed. So in this case, we have $a as 5 and $b is holding 10. So here this code should be executed. B is greater than A. Let's say whether it is working or not. We will just save it. Control S to save it. And we'll just refresh it. Okay, B is greater than A. So it is working perfectly. We will just try to change the condition. Now I will change the value of to 10. So now both of them are holding the same value. So this code should be executed. A and B are equal. Let's see whether it. Okay. So A and B are equal. So basically this double equals operator is to check whether both the variables are containing the same value or not. So this is the if else ladder. We can have multiple conditions as well. I have just given a very easy example for now, but we can have as many if else if blocks as I can. Okay. Then I have as many. Okay. So it doesn't matter how many conditions you have, you can simply use else if. Now let's jump on to switch state. Okay. Now let's talk about switch statements. Now switch and if else are completely same, just the syntax looks different. Now use the switch statement to select one of many blocks of code to be executed. Let's say if I have multiple options, multiple blocks, and only one block of code I want to execute, then I can go for either if else or I can go for switch state. So the example looks something like this. I have one variable which is holding a string value. Now it is mandatory to give a string value inside double quotes. Otherwise you will get an error. Then we have a keyword called switch. Inside this I have given a condition. What is the condition? I have given this variable, switch variable name. Now these curly braces, and inside this what I'm writing is case. Now your case is also a keyword, so I'm writing if first case, if it is a red color, then this code is to be executed. If the color is blue, then this code will be executed. If the color is green, this code will be executed. And if none of the above cases match, then this default will be executed. Favorite color is neither red, but in this case I have assigned red to this variable, so obviously this first case will be executed, case red. Okay, so now let's look at this practically in an IDE. Okay, we will just like PHP opening tags and closing, and I have dollar. Yeah, I have created one variable. Now we have to use a keyword called switch like this. Okay, so it has automatically generated, but I will just, oh, I want to teach you from the starting, so that's why clean it up. Okay, so this is the syntax for switch statement. Now inside this, we will pass the variable name, this variable. Okay, I will just say dollar save. Now case one, what should be the case one should be if the color is red, then then this code is to be executed. Echo your color, and then we have a break statement. Now I will teach you what this break statement is all about, but let's first finish the entire code. Okay, we'll just uh, then we have case blue. Let's say if my color is blue, if my variable name is holding the string blue, then this code would be exit. Echo your color is blue. Then we have one. Then one more case would be, let's say we have green. Then we have echo, or color is green. Then we have and then default. Default means it is like the else block. If none of the condition matches, then we will go for the default. Okay, let's say if my color is neither red nor blue nor green, then my default code will be exit. So I will just say echo your color is the red nor blue nor green. Okay, simply I will write this and now what does break statement does. Let's say if in this case my variable is holding the value red, so obviously this case will be executed, right? This red. uh, so in this obviously this case would be executed. Let's say if I don't write the break statement, then what will happen is it will go for other cases as well. So I can get multiple outputs in some cases, though in this case I will get only one output that your color is red. But let's say if I have some different conditions and I don't include break statement, then all the cases will be checked. I want that if a particular condition is met, then I can come out of the loop, right? If this condition is satisfied, then I can simply come out of the switch statement. No need to go for other test case. So break is used to come out of the execution, means to come out of the loop or come out of the switch statement. In this case it will come out of the switch state. If we don't insert break, then it will check for all the test cases, and sometimes we might get more than one expected output. So it is mandatory to include break state. We'll just run this in our browser. I'll just refresh it. Okay, so here it is printed, your color is red. Now let's say if my color is neither red nor blue nor green. Let's say if my color is aqua, and if I run this code, then this default would be executed because none of the above condition is satisfied. So I will just say this. So see, your color is neither red nor blue nor green. Okay, so this was about switch statement. It is similar to if else statement, which you can use if else ladder or switch statement. It's completely onto the personal choice what you want to use. Okay, so in this video, it was all about the conditional statements, that is if else and switch statement. And that is all for the today's video.